Hi, you probably don't know me, but odds are you feel bad for me. You see, I'm Prospector's wife, Tara. I know what you're thinking. Oh, that poor woman. The truth is, he's the sweetest guy, most of the time. But when he starts rambling, yeah, you have no idea. It's actually far worse than you can imagine. In fact, here's a little taste of my world. It's time for Prospector's Picky Pet Peeves on Rock 107.
All right, here's a note to all people who work in the news and media. It is not a St. Patrick's Day parade unless it occurs on St. Patrick's Day. Otherwise, it's the St. Patrick's Parade. It shouldn't be that difficult for you yambags to figure that out. And I know that's incredibly picky, but you're supposed to be the news authorities. You should get these things right.
Really?
I know I've said it before, but I still hear Jack Hole saying homemade when referring to things from scratch in their establishment, things that are made from scratch. I just gave you the proper phrase. It's called made from scratch. It's not homemade unless you make it at home. And I doubt you're making your pasta at home and trekking it in with you every day when you got a kitchen right there in the restaurant.
Oh, all right.
And I'm a little sick of the yambags who don't pick up after their dogs. Yeah, thanks. There's nothing I like more than stepping in your dog's business on my tree lawn because you're too squeamish to bring a baggie with you. Maybe you shouldn't own a dog if you're unwilling to take care of it, okay? If I ever find out where you live, I'll be defecating on your porch.
Good Lord. You think that was bad? Try living with him. Love you, honey. Mean it.
Breaking the news that's already broken. It's time for Prospector's Briefs on Rock 107.
Los Angeles was hit with an earthquake on Oscar night because even God wanted Adrian Brody to wrap up that speech. Today is Fat Tuesday, but the name will be changed to Skinny Tuesday next year because it started using Ozempic. Jennifer Garner was seen laughing while hanging out with Ben Affleck. Obviously, he was telling her that he made a good Batman.
Making sure breaking news stays broken. Tune in tomorrow for Prospector's Briefs on Rock 107.
It's time to have a little fun on the phones. Good morning. I'm Rock 107's Prospector, and today we're going to be calling an office, and we're going to get somebody on the line, try to leave a message, but I'm going to give them some guff over being called an administrative assistant. I'm going to insist that they're a secretary and see how far I can push it. It's another Prospector prank call on Rock 107.
Yeah, hearing. This is Kathy. How can I help you?
Hi, Kathy. My name's Rick. I wanted to know if I could talk to the office manager.
Unfortunately, the office manager isn't in right now. Can I help you with something?
Okay. Well, what do you do?
Well, I'm the administrative assistant.
Okay. You know what? I don't. If you could, just put me through to the secretary. I'll just leave a message.
We don't have a secretary at this office. I'm the administrative assistant. I can help you out.
Okay. Well, what do you do there?
What is it that you need help with, sir?
I need to leave a message for the office manager.
Okay, and I'd be more than happy to take that message for you.
Okay, that's fine. As an administrative assistant, you take messages?
Well, there are a lot of things, actually, that I do here, but if that's what you need help with, that's what I can help you with.
Like what?
I mean, if you really want me to get technical, I can schedule appointments for you. I can take a message like you're asking.
Mm-hmm.
I order office supplies. Mm-hmm. I keep people on track here. I make sure that our management gets to where they need to be. There's a lot of things that I do here.
So basically a secretary?
No. My position is an administrative assistant.
Well, it sounds like you're doing a secretary job. You're answering the phones, you're taking messages, you're ordering supplies, right? Secretary.
I am an administrative assistant. Do you need help or not?
Well, I'd like to speak to the secretary, which I think is you, because I want to leave a message, and that's fine, but it sounds like we have a difference of opinion right now.
Sir, there's no secretary here. I'm able to help you if
Well, there is, but she just gave herself a promotion, right?
Look, do you need help or not?
I'm trying to leave a message for the office manager, but I think if I wait long enough, maybe that'll just be you.
I'm sorry, you said your name was Rick?
Rick, yeah.
Okay, Rick, can I just enlighten you for a moment if you just give me a moment of your time?
Sure, enlighten.
Nobody uses the word secretary anymore.
Well, I do.
We are called administrative assistants. We do a lot more than what you give us credit for.
Well, I asked what you do, and you told me all the secretary stuff, so that can't be my fault.
We are not called secretaries anymore. We are administrative professionals.
Okay,
why? Can
you tell me why that's changed?
Because now people that know better associate the word secretary with being something negative. Honestly, when is the last time you heard somebody use the word secretary?
About 30 seconds ago when I asked to talk to a secretary, and you just said it.
Nobody says secretary anymore.
Me? I say
There are no secretaries anymore.
Really? Because when I call a lot of offices, a lot of secretaries answer and they take my message. They don't start reading their LinkedIn to me, okay? I don't need a resume. I just need to leave a message.
You know what, sir? You're being extremely rude right now. Nobody uses the word secretary anymore.
Well, one person does.
And you are the only person that I have ever talked to that
really?
uses the word
So
secretary
everyone calls
anymore.
and says, hey, administrative assistant, how are
I'd
you?
appreciate it if you called me administrative assistant, and I can help you out if you would like.
Okay, how about this? Can I speak to the posse?
I'm sorry, I don't know what it is.
It's a prank call being played on you right now. This isn't real.
Oh, my
I'm not a chauvinist pig.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's Prospector. You're on Rock 107 right now. My stomach's going like upside down inside. I'm like, oh, God, what a pig. It doesn't come natural, I promise you. Nobody, I know, people don't say secretary, so I just decided to
I
play
literally
with it.
lose my mind. I was like, this guy is such an
You can't go a day without someone pitching you a hack for happiness. Self-help gurus, social media influencers, even friends. Good morning, it's Prospector Show on Rock 107. And Kate, happiness sells.
But according to new research, happiness doesn't even buy happiness. Trying too hard for maximum happiness might be making us miserable. It drains our mental energy, leaving us with less willpower for other important tasks and decisions.
So it turns out forcing yourself to be happy does anything but. So instead of trying so hard, relax, kick back, and take stock of everyday simple things that bring you joy on today's list of top 5 simple things to be happy about. Here we go. Number 5, pants with drawstrings.
Top 5 simple things to be happy about. Number 4, the bathroom scale can't tell you are leaning on the sink.
Number 3, you're not a Cleveland Browns fan.
Top 5 simple things to be happy about. Number 2, you don't make enough money to lose money in the stock market.
And the number 1 simple thing to be happy about, the pressure is officially off to watch all those Oscar-nominated movies you never really wanted to watch. There you have it.
Prospector can be a little hot-headed. Sometimes he can be selfish. He labors to get through most social interactions.
Sometimes you can be kind of a jerk.
Today, he asked the question, am I a jerk? On Rock 107.
It's a question that has to be asked probably too often in my life, but here we are asking it yet again. Recently, my wife Tara and I headed out to dinner with some friends, newish friends. One of those friends is pregnant, and she bought some non-alcoholic wine in her bag. First, she asked the waiter if they served non-alcoholic wine. When the waiter said, no, I'm sorry, we don't, she said, well, I'm pregnant, which was pretty obvious just by looking at her. And she said, I brought a bottle of non-alcoholic wine. Can you get a glass for that and then charge whatever corking charge you need to charge? We'll happily pay it. And the waiter said, no, I can't give you a glass. If you didn't buy it here, you can't drink it here. And she said, okay, I'll just take a Coke. But I interrupted. Rather forcibly, might I add. I'm like, hey, look, they just brought a cake in from a bakery. They bought that somewhere else. You guys took it in the back, cut it up, put it on plates, brought it back out to them and gave it to them. What's the difference? Why can't she have a glass? How are we any different? The waiter said, well, we talked to the manager, walked away, came back and brought a glass for my friend to have her non-alcoholic wine. But now her husband's mad at me. Should have just let it go, Prospector. You're very upset at me for making a scene. So I ask, am I a jerk?
I'm saying no, Prospector, you're not a jerk. You stood up for your friend. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's the kind of guy I am.
Look
I
at
care
you.
about people for crying out
I don't know
loud.
about that. Well, Debbie from our TikTok said, sorry, no need to bring your own stuff when you're going out to eat, so I'm going to say that you're a jerk.
Ooh, all right, let's hit the rock lines here and find out. Rock 107, am I a jerk?
I think she's crazy for taking anything to the restaurant with her anyway. What's the whole sense of going out to the restaurant if you got to take stuff with you? She can't make it to one meal with just ordering something else off the menu.
Well, she did. She said, okay, I'll just have a Coke because she said, I'm fine with it. It was me who forced the issue.
And she shouldn't have even took anything with her anyway to begin with.
All right, so am I a jerk or not?
No, I don't think so.
All of that, and I thought he was leaning heavily into me being a
I know.
jerk.
I didn't know where it was going.
Yeah.
Ashley from your Facebook said, not a jerk. I completely agree with you. If another table brought something in and they served it, they have no right to say no to your friend.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%, obviously. I got a text on the rock lines, not a jerk. Good for you. Good friend.
For once, you're being a good friend.
Yeah.
Carl from your Twitter said, maybe it's a law that forbids outside food and drink consumption in some restaurants. I'm not really well versed on it, but it's kind of making you look like a jerk.
Okay, let's find out what they're saying on the rock lines. Rock 107, am I a jerk?
I'll tell you, Prospector, you're always a jerk. But this time you're really a jerk. Well, what's wrong with you? I've been up the line. I've been down the line. It's the husband's He should step in, and he should tell the waiter, not you. What's wrong with you, Prospector? Come on.
So I should have let it be. If they didn't want to say anything, I should have just let it roll.
You should have let him handle it, you jerk. What's wrong with you?
I guess I'm a jerk on that one.
Got a little heated there. Holly from your Instagram said, no need to yell or make a scene. Although your point was fair, you're verging on jerk territory.
Verging on means I'm not a jerk, and I'm okay with that. Another text from the Rock lines here. Not a jerk at all. If anything, you might have put your friend's husband in a different light. So that's an issue, but no, you're not a jerk.
Mike from your Facebook said, not a jerk, sticking up for someone else when you notice they weren't being treated the same as others. I'd say that's a good move.
And that's really what this whole angry prospector is all about. When I see something I think is unfair, I'm going to let you know about it. And that's what I thought here. I thought it was unfair to my friend. On to the Rock lines. Am I a jerk? Rock 107.
Yeah, I got no problem with that. The jerk was the husband who stand up for his wife.
Well, maybe they had some kind of agreement worked out in advance because he's like, she was fine with the Coke. So you're saying I'm all right on this, huh?
Yeah, you stood up for a friend.
Kenny, who says he's from all over on the Rock lines. Dude, am I a jerk? What do you think?
They must not know you very well.
They are relatively new friends, I'll say that.
Okay, are you still friends?
But I know she's texted my wife and stuff, and it hasn't been unpleasant.
Yeah, I don't think you're a jerk on this one.
All right, so not a jerk is the way it's leaned on that one.
And Rachel from your Instagram said, you're not a jerk per se, but liquor licenses can be tricky, so I understand the need to be cautious.
All right, so in the question today of am I a jerk for when my friend wanted to get a non-alcoholic wine and they said they didn't have it, she said, well, I brought some. Could you get me a glass? And they said no. And I said, well, you gave them a plate for their cut their cake and all that. She finally got a glass. Then her husband's mad at me and says, Prospector, let it go, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to be a jerk about it. So in the question of does that make me a jerk today, according to you, Northeast PA, by a decent margin, not overwhelming by any stretch, but by a decent margin, according to you, no, I am not a jerk.
Yeah.
Life's pretty tough right now. There's plenty of bad news, but it's not all bad. It's time for the brighter side of Prospector on Rock 107.
The Cleveland Clinic did something special for a 10-year-old girl named Ava Cooper last month. She's been there over 200 days waiting for a new heart and couldn't go to her school's father-daughter dance, so the hospital recreated it. Her dad, Sean, says he hopes this reminds people you can always find light, even in darkness.
Thanks. We needed that. The brighter side of Prospector on Rock 107. Ladies and gentlemen, grab the kids, call your neighbors, and gather around the radio.
It's now time to announce the winner of Prospector's Jam Bag of the Day, as decided by you at rock107.com.
We uncover the most baffling, ridiculous, pathetic, cockeyed, laughable, preposterous blunders in the world of misdeeds. Nominee number 1.
There are things that you do in the heat of an argument that are forgivable, and then there are things that are closer to attempted murder. A 51-year-old man in North Carolina called 911 and said, I've been locked in a storage unit for about a week. I just found my phone in the darkness. The operator asked if he was still stuck inside, and he said, yes, my girlfriend locked me in here. She doubled up my lock. I just need to get out of here. I can't breathe. I have had nothing to drink or anything. Emergency crews rushed to the unit, freed the man, and got him to a hospital for treatment. He was dehydrated, but he'll be okay. Investigators say the couple got into an argument. She told him to get something out of the back of the unit. He crawled there, and she slammed the door, shouted, this is what you get, locked it, left, and never went back. He was in there for 4 days.
Nominee number 2.
25 years after the song, we finally know who let the dogs out. It was some lady in San Bernardino. A woman in San Bernardino, California, used bolt cutters to break into an animal shelter on Wednesday last week and set 24 dogs free. There's security footage of her leaving while the bunch of dogs follow her out. It happened about 3:30 in the morning. A security guard saw loose dogs running around and called the cops. They arrested a woman nearby and found several dogs with her. But last we heard, they still hadn't officially said it was the same woman. They arrested her on an outstanding warrant and called her a person of interest. The shelter managed to round up all but one of the dogs and says the break-in might turn out to be a good thing. A ton of people saw the story and reached out to adopt. At least one of the dogs has already been adopted out.
And the winner is
the woman who locked her boyfriend inside a storage unit for a week. You're the Yam Bag of the Day, and we'll move on to Friday's Yam Bag of the Week competition. Keep it here for all of the nominees for Prospector's Yam Bag of the Day, weekday mornings on Rock 107.
Thanks for listening to Prospector's Prime Cuts podcast.
Be sure to catch us live weekdays from 5:30 to 10 a.m. on Rock 107 or online at rock107.com or the Rock 107 app, a free download for your Android or iPhone. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, or wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss Prospector's Prime Cuts.